Here's a simple, slightly rebellious idea. Your night can fix what the day couldn't. When the world finally hushes, Buddhist teachings invite a reset that costs nothing. In a few sentences, soft as a whisper, sharp as truth, you steer your inner weather. Think of this as a pocket full of Dharma talks right by your pillow, guiding you home. Through Buddhist mindfulness and Zen meditation, we'll trade noise for clarity. It's ordinary magic, the kind Buddhist wisdom loves. Small moves, big peace. Tonight we won't chase perfection. We'll practice presence the way monks do, slow and steady. You'll hear the Four Noble Truths without jargon, and walk the Noble Eightfold Path in socks. We'll borrow from Vipassana meditation to watch thoughts loosen their knots. We'll lean on Buddhist philosophy to turn heavy moments into teachable ones. If you're new, Buddhism for beginners. Perfect. The door swings wide and easy. If you're seasoned, you know, Daily Buddhist practice is where the quiet revolutions start. Here's the paradox you'll feel in your bones. Fewer words, deeper change. By blessing the end of the day, you bless tomorrow before it arrives. Buddhist spirituality thrives on the humble rhythm of honest reflection. Buddhist life lessons bloom when you name reality kindly and let it breathe. And yes, we'll borrow light from Buddhist stories and parables to keep it human. Ready to test how 6 small phrases can tilt an entire life toward peace? Today is complete. Evening reflection. You can feel it, can't you? The day is closing like a gentle book, and the last page says, enough. In Buddhist teachings, ending well is part of living well, and tonight you practice that. You whisper, today is complete, and mean it, from inboxes to inner storms. This is Buddhist wisdom in motion, not a theory. It's the hush after a Dharma talk when the hall goes quiet and the heart finally hears itself. In that hush, Zen meditation becomes simple. Just breathe and let the story pause. You're not failing because tasks remain. You're human, love. We all are. Buddhism for beginners and veterans alike says the same thing. The Four Noble Truths point out the stickiness of craving, not your worth. When you release the day, Buddhist mindfulness loosens the grip of should. Think of it like Vipassana meditation, noticing a thought, nodding, and letting it go by. That's Buddhist philosophy at work, practical as tea. And strangely, it gives you more energy for tomorrow's Noble Eightfold Path. Let's be blunt. Control is a myth with good PR. When you say, today is complete, you stop bargaining with time. In daily Buddhist practice, closing the ledger each night prevents interest on worry. Buddhist monks' teachings remind us that the mind rests when the account is settled, even if the world isn't. So we tuck the day in, like a child who doesn't need every toy put away to sleep. In Zen meditation, the floor can still be messy. Stillness doesn't check for dust. Picture this. You place each moment of the day on a small boat and push it into the evening river. Some boats carry winds, some carry misses, all drift out of reach. That's Buddhist spirituality in a nutshell. Tender, brave, realistic. Buddhist life lessons often arrive like that, soft-spoken but fierce in effect. In our Dharma talks, we call it clean closure, a habit that protects your nervous system. Even Buddhist stories and parables love this move. The traveler who stops walking finally sees the moon in the water. So here's your cue, said like an old friend. Call it, mate. Day's done. Feel the shoulders release, jaw unclench, breath deepen. You're practicing Buddhism for beginners and for the seasoned. No difference tonight. This is the Noble Eightfold Path meeting your pillow. Right intention, right effort, right mindfulness, all exhaling. The Four Noble Truths nod approvingly as worry loosens its tie. And as silence arrives, something else stirs on the horizon. An ember we'll warm our hands around next. A small, radiant act that changes everything. Did you notice what your heart's already reaching for? I am grateful for the gifts of today. Evening reflection. Start simple. Name 3 small blessings out loud, like you're counting stars no one else noticed. This is Buddhist wisdom applied, not just admired. Gratitude is a form of Zen meditation you can do with your eyes open. In Buddhist teachings, attention transforms a crumb into a feast because the heart finally tastes it. When you practice Buddhist mindfulness here, scarcity loses its microphone and abundance takes the stage. Think of our daily Buddhist practice as a lens. Adjust the focus, and the day brightens without changing the scene. Even the Four Noble Truths feel softer when the mind bows and says, "Thank you." We're not pretending everything was great. No spiritual sugarcoating. Gratitude in Buddhist philosophy isn't denial. It's precision, like Vipassana meditation noticing a single breath. You take a rough day, rotate it in your hand, and find one smooth edge to hold. In Dharma talks, Buddhist monks' teachings often call this watering good seeds. We do it together. We saw a kind smile. We finished a hard call. We had shelter from the rain. That's Buddhism for beginners and for veterans alike. One step on the Noble Eightfold Path. Now let's get tactile. Write a quick list, 5 lines, no poetry needed. The act itself is Zen meditation for busy hearts, pen to paper, presence to moment. Buddhist spirituality loves actions that anchor awareness, so this becomes a ritual you can trust. Each line is a small bell. Each bell wakes up Buddhist life lessons sleeping inside ordinary minutes. As you list, remember Buddhist stories and parables where tiny gestures tilt entire destinies. We're training perception to catch goodness before it slips off the edge of memory. Notice what shifts when you say, "I am grateful for the gifts of today." The jaw relaxes, the inner critic loses steam, warmth rises behind the ribs. Buddhist mindfulness turns into movement. Shoulders drop, breath deepens, mind clears. In daily Buddhist practice, a grateful mind cooperates with the Four Noble Truths instead of resisting them. Buddhist monks' teachings compare it to clearing dust from a mirror. Your face was always there. And with that clarity, the Noble Eightfold Path feels less like effort and more like rhythm. Here's the quiet miracle. Gratitude exposes hidden tenderness toward life and, yes, toward yourself. Buddhist teachings point out that when appreciation grows, blame has fewer places to live. Buddhist philosophy then opens a door you may not expect. Kindness toward your own mistakes. In Buddhist stories and parables, the traveler who thanks the road soon thanks the stumble too. That insight prepares the heart for a deeper step in Zen meditation and Vipassana meditation alike. Something gentle is approaching, almost inevitable. What happens when the grateful heart meets old hurts? I forgive myself and others. Evening reflection. You know that image. Gripping a hot coal to throw it later and burning yourself now. In Buddhist teachings, forgiveness means dropping the coal and cooling the hand with breath. This isn't amnesia. It's Buddhist wisdom choosing freedom over reenactment. With Zen meditation, you watch the anger rise, crest, and fall like a wave. Buddhist mindfulness names it gently. Hurt, blame, tightening, and lets the body unclench. That's Buddhist philosophy applied at night, when the heart wants to sleep light. Let's make it practical, simple, human. Buddhism for beginners and for the weary. Sit, breathe, and practice Vipassana meditation. Feel the breath at the nose, count to 5. On the exhale, whisper, "I forgive you," or "I forgive myself," like a soft Dharma talk. Repeat for 3 minutes. If stories intrude, bow to them and return to the breath. This daily Buddhist practice rewires habit. It's humble, steady, and kind. In Buddhist spirituality, small repetitions are how mountains finally move. Here's a story we tell in Dharma talks, drawn from Buddhist stories and parables. A traveler drags a sack of stones labeled "Ode to Me," while the path is pure sky. A Buddhist monk's teachings nudge. Set one stone down and see what's left of you. He drops one, then another. Suddenly his hands can greet the morning. That's how Buddhist life lessons work. Quiet, almost sneaky in their mercy. Zen meditation smiles. The lighter you are, the farther you can love. Forgiving yourself is often the hardest koan, right? The Four Noble Truths don't condemn you. They diagnose suffering so we can heal. On the Noble Eightfold Path, right intention and right effort include self-compassion. Buddhist philosophy reminds us, the one who stumbled is also the one who learned. Buddhist mindfulness notices the critic, thanks it for trying to protect, and releases it. In Vipassana meditation, we meet our mistakes like guests, not intruders. Try this evening ritual to close the loop without closing your heart. Name the person or part of you, state the harm, and ask what protection is needed now. That protects boundaries while forgiveness loosens the knot, clean and clear. Buddhist monks' teachings say freedom isn't dramatic, it's cumulative and calm. In our daily Buddhist practice, each release becomes a lantern for the next night. And as the lanterns line the path, a gentler thought appears. How do we honor honest effort? I practiced as best as I could. Evening reflection. Be honest and kind at the same time. You showed up today. In Buddhist teachings, sincerity beats perfection every single time. When you whisper, I practiced as best as I could, the body releases a secret sigh. This is Buddhist wisdom that doesn't need applause, just presence. Think of Zen meditation. We sit, we wobble, we return, and that return is gold. Buddhist mindfulness tracks the return more than the wobble, like a coach who believes in you. Let's measure effort by alignment, not outcome. On the Noble Eightfold Path, right effort means balanced fuel, neither lazy nor frantic. Buddhist philosophy says a small, honest step outshines a grand, fake leap. In our daily Buddhist practice, we grade on courage, not on speed. Buddhist monks' teachings remind us to notice the intention that carried us through. Even the Four Noble Truths nod. Suffering lessens when we drop the whip and pick up compassion. Picture your day as a training montage. Yes, a Hollywood cut with breath. You attempted patience in traffic, did 3 mindful breaths before hitting send, and paused mid-argument. That's Buddhism for beginners and for veterans alike. Micro wins that stack. Vipassana meditation rewires you one returning breath at a time. That's the quiet brilliance. Buddhist spirituality celebrates tiny fidelity. You stayed with yourself when it mattered. These are Buddhist life lessons. Ordinary minutes becoming a dojo for the heart. Here's a scene from Buddhist stories and parables. A novice sweeps the temple, misses a spot, and looks ashamed. The teacher smiles. Did the broom learn your hands today? That's the lesson. In Dharma talks, we call this training, not testing. Every attempt makes the tool more yours. Zen meditation agrees. Falling off the breath and coming back polishes awareness. And Buddhist mindfulness, ever patient, logs each return like a star on your inner sky. So tonight, say it gently, like you're tucking yourself in. I practiced as best as I could. Feel the shoulders drop as performance loosens its mask. Let Buddhist teachings wash the edges of self-judgment until they soften and round. In daily Buddhist practice, this sentence turns shame into workable data. Buddhist monks' teachings would call it wholesome pride, the kind that steadies you for tomorrow. And when steadiness blooms, we're ready for the next truth life keeps whispering. Everything is moving. Shall we listen to that movement together? Everything changes, and that is okay. Evening reflection. You've felt it all day. The quiet shuffling of life changing its shoes. In Buddhist teachings, that shuffle is called impermanence, and it's not a threat but a teacher. Buddhist wisdom says the river moves so the water can stay fresh, and so can you. With Zen meditation, you watch waves form and fade, learning not to fight the tide. Buddhist mindfulness helps you see this moment as a guest, not a landlord. In our daily Buddhist practice, we greet each guest kindly and let them leave on time. Here's the kicker. Clinging hurts more than change ever could. The Four Noble Truths point out that grasping turns passing weather into a prison. Buddhist philosophy invites a softer grip, palms open, breath steady, eyes clear. In Buddhism for beginners and for old hands, that openness is the Noble Eightfold Path in action. Vipassana meditation shows the micro changes in a single inhale, a single exhale. Dharma talks call this riding the moment, which sounds simple because it is. Think of your life like a sky where clouds write temporary stories. Buddhist spirituality says the sky is your nature, vast, steady, unbothered by the script. Buddhist life lessons arrive when you stop arguing with rain and start carrying a good umbrella. Zen meditation makes you weather-wise. Notice, name, and release. Buddhist monks' teachings warn us not to laminate emotions. Let them crinkle and pass. In our daily Buddhist practice, this becomes muscle memory for the heart. A quick practice for tonight, straight from Buddhist stories and parables in modern clothes. Name one thing that ended today and bow to it, even if it stung. Name one thing that began today and bow to that too, even if it's small. That bow is Buddhist wisdom embodied, humble, alert, courageous. Buddhist mindfulness tracks the felt sense. Where does the body soften when you allow change? Vipassana meditation then seals the lesson with 10 easy breaths, in and out, nothing fancy. Here's the relief hidden in plain sight. If everything changes, pain does too. The Four Noble Truths aren't gloomy, they're a toolkit for moving day. On the Noble Eightfold Path, right view means trusting the flow more than the fear. Buddhist philosophy becomes a friend who says, loosen your jaw, the river knows the way. In Dharma talks, we share how seasons of loss quietly compost into wisdom. And out of that soil, a natural next step sprouts from your chest, an expanding wish for safety and peace that refuses to stay small. May all beings be safe, peaceful, and free. Evening reflection. Tonight, let your circle widen like a quiet tide touching every shore. In Buddhist teachings, loving kindness isn't sentimental. It's training the heart to stay open. This is Buddhist wisdom you can feel in the chest. Warm, steady, ordinary, brave. With Zen meditation, we place attention on goodwill the way a candle feeds a room. Buddhist mindfulness guides the breath outward, first to you, then to someone you love, then farther. In our daily Buddhist practice, compassion becomes muscle memory you can trust at 2 a.m. Say it gently, like a prayer and a promise. May I be safe. May I be peaceful. May I be free. That's Buddhism for beginners and for the seasoned, side by side on the cushion. Next, offer the same to a dear one, then to a neutral person, then to a difficult one. Vipassana meditation helps when resistance spikes. Notice the tightness. Breathe space around it. Dharma talks and Buddhist monks' teachings call this widening, skillful courage. Buddhist philosophy reminds us, goodwill doesn't excuse harm, it refuses to add more. Picture a lantern in your palms, then hundreds lighting up across the city. Buddhist spirituality loves that image because it's true. Kindness scales without noise. On the Noble Eightfold Path, right intention turns into right speech and right action tomorrow. Buddhist life lessons say, what you bless tonight, you're more likely to protect at dawn. In Buddhist stories and parables, even a small wish softens a long winter. With Buddhist mindfulness, the body learns the feeling of safety and can return to it. If your mind argues, what's the point? Smile like a patient teacher. The Four Noble Truths admit suffering. They also point to its end through practice. This evening ritual is a quiet lever that shifts heavy rooms inside you. In Buddhist teachings, goodwill stabilizes attention so Zen meditation can deepen. Daily Buddhist practice means repetition over drama. We show up and we soften. Buddhist wisdom knows a kinder mind sleeps better and wakes clearer for service. Before sleep, send one last wave. May all beings be safe, peaceful, and free. Include strangers, rivals, animals, the unseen. No ticket required. Buddhist monks' teachings say the heart grows by giving away what it wants to keep. Buddhist philosophy calls that paradox the doorway to genuine freedom. Buddhist mindfulness seals it with 3 easy breaths, in and out, nothing fancy. And as the room dims, you can sense it. The story that began tonight is bigger than one evening, and it's quietly inviting us to frame the whole journey. Evening practice to carry into tomorrow. If this touched something real in you, drop a line below and tell us where it landed. What phrase hit hardest tonight? Today is complete. Gratitude, forgiveness, honest effort, impermanence, or loving kindness. Share a moment from your day where Buddhist mindfulness shifted your mood, even a little. Your story might be the lantern someone else needs. In Buddhist teachings we learn together. Your comment becomes a mini Dharma talk the whole community can feel. Be bold and specific. What's one daily Buddhist practice you'll try tonight? Maybe a 2-minute Vipassana meditation on the breath or a quiet wish. May all beings be safe, peaceful, and free. If you're new, Buddhism for beginners. Just name one tiny action and repeat it tomorrow. That's how Buddhist wisdom sticks. If you're seasoned, teach us your twist on the Noble Eightfold Path in the evenings. We're all ears. Tell us too, where do you still feel stuck? Which of the Four Noble Truths is loud right now, and what gentle step would soften it? Reflect on any Buddhist life lessons that surfaced as you watched. Did a piece of Buddhist philosophy suddenly make sense in real life? We'd love your takeaways, your doubts, even your, "I'm not sure yet." Honest reflections help everyone grow. If a line felt like it was written for you, say which one and why. Got a favorite from Buddhist monks' teachings or Buddhist stories and parables you return to at night? Drop it below. This is your space to turn ideas into lived clarity. Zen meditation in the comment box. No robe required. Let's keep the conversation kind, practical, human. If this brought you a breath of calm, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. That way, you'll keep getting Buddhist teachings, short Dharma talks, and simple guides to Buddhist spirituality you can actually use. We'll keep things grounded and doable. Buddhist mindfulness, Vipassana meditation, and real-world applications. No fluff, just steady light.